yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be some pain, but remember that love, yes it will, love will reign. Yeah, love will reign. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, love will reign. Yeah. Have a vision. It's clear and plain. People living life, smiling again. Oh, see the children. They know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain, but remember that love, yes it will. I know. Yeah. Love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe. Sun will shine again, and love, I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace. There'll be peace, happiness and joy forever. Oh, yeah. One day, someday, pain will be over and love will reign. They won't last, for I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. In the end, love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign.
I'm excited to be here. Happy New Year to those of you who have not had the chance to say Happy New Year's to, whether you're watching us here live on the Facebook platform at Love and Stuff or all of the love groups that we're connected to, or the Marcus R. Holmes page. If you're watching us on a separate device on TikTok, if you're watching us through Restream on YouTube events, on Twitch TV or Instagram, we're grateful that you're here and Happy New Year. Why don't you take a moment and click share? Tag 5 of your closest friends, connections, followers, subscribers, 5 of the more popular ones to join us in tonight's discussion straight from the inbox. But let me not jump into this without first again saying Happy New Year to you from the Love and Stuff community. We've said it in post. We've said it in inbox, but this is the first chance that we've gotten to say it live with you. We enjoyed our time away, enjoyed our time with the sweetest sweetie girl in the whole wide world, and family time. And I'm excited to be here with you. And shouts out to, seems like there are a ton of Capricorns in and around our Love and Stuff community. One of them, Sandra D., a dear friend of mine, all the way over there in Maryland. And she had a birthday. Shout out to her. And all of these Capricorns, they have such strong personalities. So if you're a Capricorn, shout yourself out and press that heart and like button wherever you are. We shout out the Capricorns because there's nobody like them. I share that with her and a number of other Capricorns who we've been doing birthday shouts out to them because they are some amazing people. But listen, there are some unique people too. And we love them for all of the uniqueness that they bring into our lives and this world. So shout out to all of you who are having birthdays in this season of Capricorn. May the Lord bless you with many, 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 many more. Rock it out. And so I want you to click share, tag someone to join us. You are so welcome. Tag someone to join us. Those of you that are on TikTok, click share, tag someone to join us. Tap that screen so we can get it going. The algorithm is awakening. We're in a new year and a new season. I want to take out a moment that if you haven't joined the Love and Stuff community, it's an amazing community filled with amazing people. And we have one thing that we're trying to do: increase the amount of love in the world. If that makes sense to you for your life, join the Love and Stuff community. And you also want to join inside Love and Stuff. So shout out to the folks that are inside Love and Stuff. There's a group connected to the Love and Stuff page. And we're on a self-care journey. And this month, we're talking all about sleep. That's right. Starting the year out, getting the appropriate amount of rest because it tells your organs that you're not in fight or flight, and it helps your circulatory system and so many systems. It helps to regulate and helps you to have healthy living. That's right. You need sleep. And if you want to join that journey with us, it's a 12-month journey. Each month, there's a different focus. I want you to go and join inside Love and Stuff. We're still getting new members to join, getting people an opportunity to get to know each other. We have some members who post love quotes and different quotes and scriptures and all kind of good information. And we're going to be having later in the month, not too much longer, pretty soon. Thank you so much over there on TikTok. We'll have some folks that will come and talk to us, sleep experts, to help us. Now, I have to tell you that if you go inside Love and Stuff, there's already a treat waiting for you. There is a video link that you can play and will help you sleep better through the night. And there is a link for each day of the week, but you need to go join Inside Love and Stuff to learn more about it. And I want to help you get there. That's right. Fellow Capricorns, none like you. All right. Tag somebody that's a Capricorn and tell them, get on in here. And I want to share with you the opportunity this year to be a part of our 36 questions that lead to love 2.0. Listen, I'm going to be replaying snippets of 1.0 because it was amazing. It was hilarious. It was fun. It was adventurous. And we want people who are looking for love to join in this virtual opportunity to get to know someone through 36 questions that lead to love. We'll be telling you a little bit more about that in the show. And I want to make sure that you are able to participate in that if you're open and wearing your love front and center. All right, we're going to jump into the topic, which I posted everywhere but TikTok, because TikTok has a character limit. And so we're trying to get them to raise that limit so we can put the entire topic there. And this topic comes from the inbox, and I'll read it. I'm a 32-year-old Black woman on the East Coast. She says, back in college, I friend zoned a guy in our close knit group. 11 years later, he's grown, emotionally grounded, confident, intentional. Now I'm seeing him differently. The twist, his ex is still in our friend group. There are 8 of us total, and only one couple came out of college together. So here's my question. Is it fair or wise to revisit a connection I once shut down when the social stakes are higher and the past is still in the room? What do I owe myself, him, and the group? So I want to hear from you. This group of friends, right? One of them, she decided to friend zone this brother, and now she's blinking her eyes thinking, uh-oh, he kind of looks like what I'm looking for. And I want, if you've ever experienced that, you can join in helping me to provide her some sage advice, some of which I have synthesized from various relationship experts, and some of the wisdom that I've gathered myself. You know, in the Love and Stuff community, I'm not a loveologist. I'm not a licensed psychologist. I am a love activist. I'm advocating for a better love for you and me. So what I do is I gather the information from couples, young and old, some married 60 years, some married 2 weeks, and synthesize the information to provide advice. And we hope throughout the year to bring some of those very couples on so that you can ask them your questions. So that topic, I want you to think about it. If you friend zone someone, does the friend zone get an expert? Well, I want to hear from you and hear your comments. Drop them now so that we hear your comments now. And I am going to share with you right after we talk about 36 questions that lead to love, the first point that I think that she should consider. And I want to hear from you if you think it's a point well worth considering, because relationships, you don't, now do you? Uh-oh, it's getting a little hard time there. All right. You don't want relationships. You want relationships to go well. Well, we'll be right back. Okay,
Can
looks like maybe
36
there was a
questions
little
make you
bit
fall in love?
of.
What if I told you 2 young psychologists discovered over 30 years ago that just 36 questions could create real closeness between complete strangers? And that the same questions might lead you to love or help you discover more about yourself than you ever imagined. This isn't a dating gimmick. It's an experiment that's been studied and repeated around the world. People walked in as strangers and walked out feeling deeply connected. Some even got married. But here's the twist. It's not just about romance. These questions open the door to vulnerability, honesty, and self-reflection. They help you see who you are, how you love, and what really matters to you in relationships. So whether you're looking for love or looking to learn more about yourself in the process, click the link, sign up, and let's walk through these 36 questions together. Who knows? Love might just be one question.
Who knows? Love might be just one question away. So that's why I want you to join us for the 36 questions that lead to love. You never know where love might be. I don't want to say hiding, but might be waiting for you. And so, as she said, click the link. She meant click the link, I think. That's the QR code that you can scan. We just need a few pieces of information to involve you. What's going to happen is we're going to try to pair it up with as many guys as women. Sometimes we have more women than guys, but each person gets a certain amount of time in a virtual space, just the 2 of you, no one listening in, and you will go through the 36 questions and see whether or not you're building some kind of rapport, connection, intimacy. 2 young psychologists started out on this journey asking each other questions, and they ended up falling in love and getting married. They made this their experiment and it went viral almost 40 years ago. And then it went viral again a few years ago because people put it to the test and it really does open you up to be more vulnerable. You will never know whether or not it will lead to love unless you get on the path. And so I want you to scan the QR code if you're interested. And we'll leave it up for just a second to give you an opportunity to scan that QR code so that you can join 36 questions that lead to love. All right. 36 questions that lead to love. We're excited about that. All right. We're going back to our topic, our inbox, straight from the inbox topic of this 32-year-old woman who is with a group of friends, and now she's kind of digging one of the brothers in the group who she friend zoned very early on. There is someone in the group that he used to date, but she's wondering, does the friend zone have an expiration? And she asked, is it fair or wise to revisit a connection once you shut it down, especially when the social stakes are higher and the past is still in the room? All right. So we'll talk a little bit about timing, because sometimes the issue isn't that someone wasn't your type, right? Sometimes the issue is you met them before they became fully themselves or more of themselves, and before you became yours, right? So this woman who friend zoned this guy in college, there was no drama around it, no toxicity. She was just like, you're cool, but nah. Now, 11 years later, he's matured. He's making money. He's grounded. He's emotionally available. He's consistent. And suddenly, her eyes are seeing him differently. Has anybody ever experienced that? Of course, it doesn't come without complications, right? The ex is still in the friend group. The other friends know that she friend zoned them, if that might matter. And the group has history. They have holidays. They have group chats. They got loyalty. They got inside jokes, right? So now the question, I don't think it's just, do I like them? It's, is the friend zone permanent? Is attraction allowed to grow later? And do you owe your friend group any explanation? And further, how do you explore something real without blowing up the friend zone ecosystem? Because grown relationships aren't just about butterflies. They do have a component of impact. So we're going to try to break this down honestly. No fairy tales, no shame. So the first thing that came to mind is Esther Perel, who teaches that desire thrives on truth, not nostalgia. The point one that I want you to consider, and I asked her to consider, and I want to hear how you might add more to it, because attraction can grow, but it needs radical honesty. It needs radical honesty about what you intend, what is happening. And I would say that the how-to steps in this radical honesty, and I invite you to read Radical Candor. That's one of the things that jumps in my mind by Kim Scott. But this radical honesty, number one, you got to name the shift that's happening clearly by asking yourself what you're attracted to now that you weren't before. His values, right? His consistency, the emotional maturity, or is it familiarity? Okay, so you got to name the shift. What's changed that you're now attracted to? Or did you change? Okay. Then this is the hard part that a lot of people have struggled with. They get on a struggle bus here, because you need to have a direct, low pressure conversation. Direct, low pressure conversation. Share your curiosity and not your expectations. I'm noticing something new. Are you open to talking about what's new? And whatever that is, however you couch it, this new attraction, this new I'm open to something different that I'd not thought about in 11 years. A direct, low pressure conversation. Not, I'm ready to be I want you to be my man, my man, my man. No, not that conversation. Low pressure conversation. I'm starting to see you differently. And number 3 in the how to's for this point 1, where attraction can grow, but you must have radical honesty, is avoid rewriting the history. And what I want to convey about that from Esther Perel is avoid rewriting history by acknowledging why it didn't work before without any apology to your younger self. You fool, you should have went with it. No. What was there that didn't work before? Excuse me, because maybe something in you is changing. Okay? You got to think about where that desire comes from and make sure it isn't just from nostalgia. All right? Not just nostalgia, remembering how things were and what they could have been. Make sure it is grounded in something that is present time, right? Because your attraction changing over time is normal. Anybody resonate with that? Attraction changing over time is normal. There are people that I wasn't attracted to 40 years ago that I'm like, and vice versa, right? And maybe the same for you, right? So what can be dangerous is pretending that it just happened without examining why. Okay? And tell yourself you didn't miss out before. You made a decision to friend zone this person with the information and emotional capacity you had then. And now that may have shifted. Maybe you value emotional regulation now. Maybe you recognize consistency or stability as sexy. Maybe you didn't think of that then. Maybe you're less impressed with accoutrements or potential, and you're more drawn to follow through and steadiness, right? And that's not hypocrisy, that's growth. Okay? So you got to name the attraction clearly to yourself first. What exactly is drawing me in now? His growth, my loneliness, my desperation? Am I curious about him or the safety of familiarity? Thank you, Sports Talk with Kamal Phillips, for joining us over there on TikTok. Tap that screen. Let's get it going. And when you initiate that grounded, pressure-free, say pressure-free conversation, don't make it a confessional where you confess your love. I loved you all along and you done grewed up. No, don't make it a confessional. Don't make it a dramatic, we need to talk. Just something like, I've noticed a shift in how I see you and how I think about you. And I want to be honest. Not because I'm expecting anything, but because I respect you. So initiate a grounded, pressure-free conversation. Not the confessional of your heart. I just got to tell you how I've always dreamt about you. I have dreamed. No. I've noticed a shift in how I see you. What do you mean? I find you more attractive than I did before. And I want to be honest, because I'm not setting an expectation here. I'm just sharing with you how I feel. And again, number 3, don't rewrite history. You don't owe guilt. You don't owe an apology for not choosing him sooner or her sooner. You owe clarity, not some revisionistic romance, even if either of you have been playing it in your mind. All right? Really important. Okay? And I want to hear from you if these points resonate with you about radical honesty. I know we sometimes have a fear of rejection, right? That if we're honest with somebody, they're going to reject us, right? But you owe it to yourself that if you are shifting You never know if the shift is the natural evolution or progression of both of you as you're growing. Growth is great, Nicole says. How you doing this evening? Pressure free. That's right, a pressure free conversation. All right. All right. So that was point number one that I thought was important to share with this woman who is on the East Coast who says, got a friend group and I friend zoned this guy 11 years ago, but now he looking different, even though his ex is in the group. And we'll get to that. We'll talk a little bit about that because I think that's an important aspect of this situation, right? So in point two that I want her to consider, and I want you to chime in and consider and add to it, take away from it, tell me what works and doesn't. Protect the friendship system, not just the spark. Has anybody ever had a spark, a rekindling spark? Have you ever not seen somebody for years and then got in their presence and you felt this whoo, whoosh? You were like, what in Sam's Hades was that? Was that a heat flash? Is it am I menopausal? Have you ever gotten in someone's presence and your heart pitter pattered? You kind of had the butterflies, okay? Or you had that spark that came back that you used to have, that giddiness that you used to have, that feeling in your shoulders that you kind of just had to ruminate on, okay? Well, John Gottman's work we often look at, his work has a part of the research on trust and social stability, which are key for ecosystems, right? Friendship systems, when there are two or more involved in friendship relationships, typically those are founded on some level of trust and some social stability. They can count on those friends being there, right? And so to protect the friendship system, he advises a couple of things to show that stable relationships thrive when people account for their shared environments and not just the emotions attached to them. When people account for their shared environments and not just the emotions attached to them, because your emotions can change, right? How you feel about somebody can change, but the stability of the social structure has to have more than just being built on the emotions. It's a shared environment. It's a shared accountability, a shared ownership. So here's what John Gottman says. Number one, assess ripple effects. How could a romantic shift affect people in the group, especially the ex? Now, we've done many shows about exes. And what we've come to know in general, there's nuance here, but what we've come to know in general, people that are exes are rarely done at the beginning of exes and sometimes not until the end, if ever. There are feelings, there are attachments, there are parts of the familiarity that they can easily slide in and out of, if you will, because of what was built in that relationship or those relationships. So assess how the romantic shift, because it's not two people that never met each other. It's one person who said, nope, you're in the friend zone, who's now saying, I'm unlocking the friend zone. How does a romantic shift affect the people in the group? Are there communications that you might need to have? Maybe with the ex, depending on the relationships, right? And there's nuance there, right? Number two, set boundaries before emotions escalate. So you can agree on discretion, how and when you will share and with whom, the pacing of the relationship, and how you'll show up together in group settings. Okay? And create an exit plan. How will you return to normalcy of your relationship if you can? Decide in advance how you'll protect the group if it doesn't work out. Okay? So, number one, assess the ripple effects. Number two, set boundaries before the emotions escalate. And 3, create an exit plan. Because if you think about it, this isn't just about you and him or you and her. This is about the village. Because friend groups are emotional ecosystems. They provide social stability. And oftentimes, when one dynamic shifts, everything can shift. You know, you could say, well, we'll just be adults. But the reality is, there are intricacies and connections inside of that ecosystem that you cannot or should not ignore, because emotions don't typically RSVP in advance. Okay. And you need to remember that emotions don't RSVP in advance, they show up. And sometimes there are emotions that may have festered, there are emotions that may reveal some other thoughts or intentions or impacts of relationships. So you can honestly ask yourself, how would this affect group gatherings? How might his ex experience this? And would secrecy create some tension? Okay. Then, when you're setting boundaries before those feelings deepen, talk through what's public versus private behavior, if there's any difference. Might be the same. Are there group expectations? How you'll handle awkward moments if those arise. And while you're creating the exit strategy up front, which is in pessimism, it's maturity. Agree on how you'll show up if it ends. What respect looks like today and will look like afterward. And how you'll work together collaboratively to ensure the group stays intact. All right. I want to just check in with you across all platforms and see how are you thinking about those things, whether or not those things you think are helpful. Thank you so much, Beatrice, for joining us over there on TikTok, along with Glennis and others that are joining. Grateful that you are here. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join in the conversation. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so I'm going to point number 3 as we're talking about this young woman. I'm going to say young. I'm feeling young, but she's in her 30s. She's 32. And she has a group of friends. Anybody been in a group of friends where you friend zone somebody? Well, she said, unlock that friend zone. This brother is a catch. She is seeing him differently. And I asked her if she feels differently, because sometimes you're seeing differently because your sight has changed. You're seeing differently because your focus has changed. What you were focused on before is no longer your focus today, right? So she's saying, is it wise or is it fair to revisit a connection she once shut down? And I asked her if she had any fear about him saying, no, because you shut me down. Nah, 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 nah. And she expressed a little bit of fear. And I told her that's normal because you were the one that shut it down. And there are so many reasons that you might stop someone in a friend zone. But attraction and feelings change over time, and that's okay. And that's a really great point to start the conversation that, when we were younger, I felt that you were fun, but not quite serious. I felt that you were fun, but maybe a little not as mature. You really turned into the man that I would look for in a husband. Now, that might not be the first conversation, but at some point when you're having these deeper conversations, you're able to say, I'm changing. And it's okay if I'm changing, because my taste, my preferences, my desires, my focus changes as I change. So I wanted to assure her of that and assure you that if ever you're in that situation where you look back and say, now I wouldn't have dated him or I wouldn't have dated her, but now today I've changed. My appetite has changed. that it is okay for you to reflect on that and see the why behind what has changed. All right. So we talked about point number one, really was about having radical honesty, right? Being able to talk about your feelings, because that attraction can grow. And to do it, to name the shift clearly to yourself first, have a direct, low pressure conversation with the other person, and avoid rewriting history, right? And that was advice we got from Esther Perel, whose work we've followed in the Love and Stuff community and utilized on a number of occasions. So you got to name that attraction clearly, have that grounded, pressure-free conversation, and make sure that you don't rewrite history. Point two, protect the friendship system, because friendship systems or friendships, groups of friends, are an emotional ecosystem. So you don't want to just protect this new spark that you have. John Gottman says you want to ensure that you undergird the trust and social stability of this ecosystem by assessing the ripple effects, setting boundaries before emotions deepen or emotions escalate, and creating an exit plan in the event that it doesn't work, because it's not just about you and him or you and her. It's about the village. And one dynamic shifting can shift everything. So you got to make sure that you take those three things into consideration, assess the ripple effects honestly, set boundaries before feelings escalate or emotions deepen, create an exit strategy up front. Okay. And now we're at point number three. Communicate in the language of emotional safety. Okay. And this draws on, one of our favorite love practitioners is Gary Chapman. We often talk about the 5 languages of love, the appreciation languages, the apology languages. So we draw from his work to apply to adult friendships and not just romance. Okay. Because this is still important to the ecosystem, and important to the individuals, that you communicate in the languages that are going to be safe for the other person. All right. So the number one in this point 3 is identify his primary need right now. Now we're talking about the other person. So fellas, if it is the girl that you friend zone and now you're thinking about her, you're going to identify her primary need, because in love languages, you don't just love out of the language that's important to you. You love the other person in the language that's important to them. So is it reassurance? Is it quality time? Is it acts of service? Is it words of affirmations? Is it gifts? Is it physical touch? What is it? Right? That is the primary need, the primary language when you are now engaging him where you kind of put him off before. So if his love language is words of affirmation, you might start talking in reassurance to him that, I'm changing. I'm seeing you differently, right? So it reassures him that there was nothing wrong with the attraction, the timing, the season, the evolution had not occurred. Okay. Then you match, number 2, match action to language. So if he values words, speak clearly. If he values time, take your time. Don't rush and hide. Match your actions to the love language. And number 3, check alignment early, like asking what dating within the friend group would require emotionally for him, what he would need you to say, do, navigate, behave, demonstrate, and vice versa. So identify the primary need now, match the action to the language, and then check alignment early. Okay? Because Let's face it, attraction is a spark, it's a start, but it isn't enough. Safety is the real seduction. Okay. And I'm speaking generally, men who have matured often move slower. And it's not because they're unsure, but because they're trying to be intentional. So if he was friend zoned, vulnerability may feel riskier now. Okay. So again, the reassurance is about identifying what makes him feel safe. Does he need verbal reassurance? Does he need to see consistency over some time? Does he need some time without pressure? And if you say no expectations, then you can't act entitled, like to some emotional labor. He's got to do this, he's got to do that. If you say, let's take it slow, then you can't rush it. You got to align your actions with your words. Okay. And when you ask the question of what does dating look like or require for us to do it in this presence of this group, it kind of reveals that you're ready to move forward. And you want to give him the sense that that is what you intend to do, to move forward, right? I want to check in with you, see how that advice sounds to you, whether you'd add anything to it. Okay, want to make sure. All right. I just want to check in across pages. I am so grateful to be in this new year. And I hope that this is an amazing year for all of you. And any of you that are seeking love in any aspect or area of your life, I want you to be open. It does require vulnerability. It does require your love being front and center. That's not just a slogan that we believe. We really believe in order for someone to see that you're available, you've got to be open. When you're open to the possibility of love, more possibilities and potentialities come your way. And you know, I'm often saying, whether you're in the store, the grocery store, there are people that are connectors to your love. Not everyone that you're meeting initially is the person that you're going to love, but they got a brother, a sister, a mother, a cousin, a uncle, a dad, a grandpa even, who they would love to connect you to when you show that you're open to love. All right. So you got to be open in this year to the love that you're seeking, even if it's just, because I know a lot of people are looking for the love of boo or bae, husband or wife. Even if you want to love your siblings more, you want to love your coworkers more, you want to love your neighbors more, you want to love that cousin that you used to get along with so well, but you can't seem to reconnect. You have to be open. All right. So that's my New Year's hope for you. And I hope you'll add it as a part of your resolution that I will be open. I'll be open to meeting new people. I'll be open to greeting people. I'll be open to being warmer in my introductions and connections with people, even if I'm introverted. And we'll be talking with the introverts next month as we're going into the love month, kind of Valentine's Day. I think introverts get left out. People who have social anxiety get left out because they don't always know how to navigate spaces where love may be present. Well, we're going to be talking to you specifically to help you navigate that time so that you don't feel so much like the awkward man or woman out. We want you to be your love to be front and center. So stay tuned and stay connected to us. We're going to point number 4, and we're talking about from the inbox this woman who is 32 years old in a friend group that's been friends since college. And what she's learned is that she's friend zoned a guy, but now she feels differently about him 11 years later. And she's asking, is it fair or even wise to pursue anything, especially when one of the other females in the group used to be his girlfriend? How do you feel about that? I want to hear from you in the comments. So I'm going on to number 4 because I talked a little bit about that, touched on it, because she's a part of the ecosystem, the ex-girlfriend. And so you don't want to make her feel awkward. And there's a balancing act because you may not know the details of their breakup, right? Though most friend groups have a little bit of insight in what's happening, right? Somebody shout amen to the friends group. But you may not know both sides or the truth. So it's important that you navigate that with balance and grace. Okay. Number 4, boundaries are non negotiable, especially with the ex present. Now, some of the work of Nedra Glover Tawwab, who centers emotional boundaries as self respect, gives some advice about non negotiable boundaries. And the how to's that she shares with us are: decide what you won't do. So, no triangulation, no secrecy that breeds resentment, no emotional babysitting. Okay? We're not making no triangles, love triangles, no secrecy that breeds resentment, and no emotional babysitting. Number 2, keep the conversations clean. If questions arise, speak for yourself. But you don't have to explain, defend, or overshare. Keep the conversations clean. And 3, honor discomfort without feeling guilty about it. Some people are going to be uncomfortable. They're going to have some discomfort with this newfound couple that's been under their noses all along. But you're allowed to pursue love and growth even if it challenges the status quo. So honor discomfort without guilt. Because boundaries are not punishment, they're protection. You are not responsible for managing everyone's feelings, but you are responsible for your integrity. And silence, secrecy, or over explaining can all create mess. So you got to decide your non negotiables. You got to decide no emotional caretaking, no group manipulation, no gossip. We're exploring something. That's it. No details. Because you got to know that growth disrupts comfort. And that doesn't mean it's wrong. Because the friend zone isn't a prison sentence. Okay? And I think the real question she has asked is, should I go for it? And my answer is, if you can handle it with honesty, maturity, and care for yourself and everyone connected, and be intentional, yes. Because love at this stage in life is not reckless. Unlocking the friend zone is not reckless. And sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is tell your truth without demanding that you're going to get a happy ending. So the friend zone doesn't have to be forever, but timing doesn't erase responsibility. Growth deserves your curiosity, not fear. And the real question doesn't have to be, will this work? It's, can I handle working it? Can I handle it with integrity, maturity, honesty, and care? I want to hear from you as to what your thoughts are about this very topic right now. It is a great conversation. Nicole says, "Oh my." Roderick says, "Okay, speak on it." I'm just saying, and I'm sure that you could add more to it, right? I'm going to run back through those points very quickly because those are points I want. I think she should go for it if she feels mature. The group's mature. She can work. They can work collaboratively to undergird the trust and social stability of this friend group. I think that's important. And if not, then take it very slow and make sure it's not just a throwback to nostalgia of what I don't have, or I'm desperate, or I'm lonely, because all of those can come into play into your decision making, right? We make moves when we're feeling alone or lonely. We want to be touched or held, or whatever our desires are. And sometimes just a spark of that can take us beyond the direction we should actually go in, right? But point one is attraction can grow, but only with radical honesty. Estelle Perel says, name the shift clearly, have a direct, grounded, low pressure conversation about your feelings and not getting into expectations. And three, avoid rewriting history. That was point one. Okay. Point two is protect the friendship system, not just the spark that I was just talking about, right? And John Gottman's research and work on trust and social stability advises 3 steps. Assess the ripple effects. Map how the romantic shift will affect the people in the group, especially the ex. Okay? Set boundaries before emotions escalate or feelings deepen. Okay? And then create upfront an exit plan. Okay? That's John Gottman talking about stable relationships thrive when people account for their shared environments and not just the emotions that are attached to them. Okay? So you got to set boundaries before the feelings deep. Talk through it. Talk through an exit strategy in case it doesn't work out. Point three, communicate in the language of emotional safety, which is one of my favorites. I'm a big aficionado follower of the Gary Chapman love languages and a host of other of his work, apology and appreciation languages. And he says, identify his primary need right now, not your primary need, his. What is his love language? And how can you reassure, affirm, provide quality time, all of those things that he needs to know that his vulnerability is not too risky, or her vulnerability, fellas. Match the action to the language. So if he values words, speak clearly. If he values time, don't rush or hide, right? And check alignment early. Ask, what does dating in this group look like for us? Okay? Because attraction isn't enough, it's the spark, right? Safety is the seduction, stability is the placehold, all right? And note that men who've matured often move slower because they're intentional, not because they're unsure. So again, vulnerability might be an issue if he's been friend zoned, or fellas, if she's been friend zoned. So you got to identify what makes him feel safe. Got to align your actions with your words. So if you say, no, we just flowing, there's no expectations, then you can't act entitled because he didn't call a certain number of times. And you're entitled to emotional labor. He's got to do something to show you. You said no expectations. If you say take it easy, take it slow, you can't be rushing. I thought we was gonna be farther along by now. You gotta take it slow. And you gotta ask, what would dating within this group require for you emotionally? Not for me, for you, right? To show him that you're ready to hear what he has to say, or fellas, hear what she has to say. And point four, boundaries, Nedra Glover Tawab says, are mandatory, especially when the ex is present. So you have to set emotional boundaries because that determines your self-respect and the respect that you're teaching people how to treat you in the group. So decide what you won't do. No emotional caretaking, no secrecy, no triangulation, no love triangles. No emotional babysitting. Keep the conversation simple and clean, gossip free. Don't feel like you got to explain, defend, or overshare. And be prepared to honor their discomfort without feeling guilty, because they may be just have some discomfort because you all haven't been together. That can make them uncomfortable, especially when the ex is there, because they feel like they have to be in allegiance with one side or the other. Be prepared to honor that discomfort and have um, thoughtful and open conversations about it, because you're not responsible for managing everyone's feelings, but you are responsible for your integrity. So when you're silent or secretive or over explaining, it can create a very messy situation. All right. Again, the friend zone isn't a prison sentence. It isn't. And how you will determine whether you should go for it are many factors that you might consider, several variables that you might consider. Are you mature enough? Are you honest enough? Do you have enough care and consideration for the group, including the ex, so that your love isn't reckless or feel reckless, that it feels intentional? Do you have the bravery to tell your truth, even if it doesn't end up the way that you want it to? If you say yes to those, I believe that you should go for it, because the friend zone is not forever. The friend zone does not have to be forever, because growth deserves the opportunity to explore. It deserves the opportunity to be curious instead of being fearful and reserved. So the real question isn't, is it fair or wise? Can you and the group handle it? I love this inbox topic. Wow, relax. And that's a two-way street. Absolutely. 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 I love this inbox topic. And we're always open to more inbox topics. If you have a topic that you want to come on and discuss, or you want it to be just like tonight's, discuss with anonymity. We pride ourselves in doing that, because not everybody wants to get in front of the camera and tell people their situation and their business. And oftentimes we may switch it around just to protect the anonymity, because sometimes it's people in the community sharing their own relationship situations, and they just want to hear other voices. And that's one of the things we love in Love and Stuff. It's not a place of judgment, because you and I may think differently, believe differently, worship differently, understand differently, but we can come together and hear each other's perspectives and decide whether or not it's something that's going to help anchor us, elevate us, move us forward in the love that we're seeking. You know, the quintessential love, who is God. God is love. He's written love chapters about us, and he really wants us to love him with everything we've got. I'm paraphrasing. And then he says, and love your neighbor as yourself. I am often talking about the pursuit of God's love to the extent that we even understand that he is love. But he wants us to understand it enough that we will seek to love him back. But he didn't forget an important part. He wants us to love ourselves. Think about that for just one moment, because every time that you seek to love somebody else, it should be a reflection of how you love yourself. When you are measuring out grace to people or revenge, when you're measuring out anger or patience, whatever you're doing should be a reflection of how you do yourself. Well, think about that in this situation. If you love yourself, you're going to take the care and custody to make sure other people who may or may not have felt some kind of way about how you loved or didn't love, or friend zoned or didn't friend zone them. You're going to take a certain amount of care and custody for how you treat them, because that's how you would want to be treated, right? It's no different than the love that we have for a community or our coworkers or our children. You must work on self-love before you mete out, measure out, pour out, ration out, give out any love. And I want to invite you this year to spend some dedicated, intentional time loving yourself, just like you would spend dedicated and intentional time loving someone else. I'm Marcus Holmes. I love loving stuff. And I love the idea that you and I should be working on ourselves. We should be working on our love for the quintessential God is love. And there isn't a moment or space in time where God stops loving us. And I believe, similarly, there shouldn't be a moment or space in time when you stop loving yourself. The moment you do, you're not wholly prepared to love anybody else. And so this year, as we go throughout this year, I want you to consider, how can I love me better? And when you get into that, you're going to find that once you start loving yourself better, your love is going to show up better in the relationships that you have. We're all imperfect. God is the only perfect love. We're all imperfect in our pursuit of loving Him. I know I am. And imperfect in our pursuit of loving people. So maybe we got to turn and look at our pursuit of loving self. And that, I believe, will increase the amount of love in our world, one person at a time. I hope that you've enjoyed the show. And if you have, I want you to keep the comments going and the conversation going in the comments. I want you to click share, tag someone who you know is in a friend group and they're feeling like skittish or squirmish about the opportunity for love that's right around them, or someone who just feels unloved. We want to connect people to love. And if that resonates with you, you're in the right community, because that's what we're about. We're all about love. It's imperfect people. So if you're looking for a perfect community, that's not this one. But we're in a perfect position to be used to give more love and to learn more love and to share more love. And if that resonates with you, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified every Tuesday at 8:30. You'll be notified when Sports Talk with Kamal and Felix, the dynamic duo of Kamal Williams and Felix Holmes. They love all things sports, and you can join them Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. They're the soul train of sports, and you'll see why if you tune in on Saturday. And join Inside Love and Stuff by going to the Love and Stuff community page and clicking on groups, and you'll find Inside Love and Stuff. We'll ask you a few quick questions and then have you join us on a 12-month self-care journey. It's about self-care. It really, we believe, is your love and your gratefulness speaking to your worthiness. You will not care well about yourself unless you know the value that you bring to our world. Until you really reconcile that, you won't take the kind of care that you deserve. You'll be caring for everybody else, but you'll forget that you're valuable too. So join us on a 12-month journey. Each month has a different focus, and January is about getting a good night's sleep. We're starting the year off saying we have to work at our habits of good sleep. So then when you're well rested, think of all of the things that you're able to do when you're well rested. Think about how your body resets, how it refuels, it recharges. God knows what He's doing. The quintessential love designed you to get rest. And if you ignore it, you're ignoring an important part of your self-care journey. Okay? So we will see you soon. Thank you both, Nicole and Roderick. Thank you both for being here. I hope you will click share. And thank you, Kay, for being there on TikTok. Thank you, those that have joined on Instagram. Let me see. Tammy Baker over there on Instagram, all of you, I appreciate you. And I just want you to do one thing: click share, keep the conversation going so that someone will know that they can be in a friend zone and grow and evolve into the love that they want and deserve. Have a grateful evening. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the gratefulness journey every day. MJ from Shies of Sunset tells us a little bit about it. And I just want to play a little bit of that. And then I'm going to get on out of here.
Marcus, I want to congratulate you on Love and Stuff. I really want you to know that staying grateful and understanding the power of what it is to be operating out of a space of abundance and gratitude is the most important part of every journey of every day. So Marcus June, congratulations on this book. It's on Amazon now. That makes me so proud of you and your family and me and my family, and every single person around us gets it. So good on you for bringing it into the hands and the laps and the Kindles of all the people. Okay, so we're gonna check it out. Can't wait to learn more.
Saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something, but remember that love, yes it will, love will reign, yeah, love will reign, yeah, in my heart I believe it, love will reign, oh yeah, have a vision, it's clear and plain, people living life, smiling again, oh, see the children, they know no pain, far from pressure, stress and strain.